water up here today. What's up? What's up?
Learn from your mistakes. It's not failure. So remember the water.
Thanks. It's always good. Need some water.
Let's start with some opening remarks from Coach Locks. Now, questions, Coach?
Yeah, I'm going to try to do something a little differently. I'm not going to do the police report and kind of go through last week and this week, but hit a couple points. One, obviously, really happy with the win. As I told our team after the game, winning is hard, and anytime you win, you need to be excited, happy, especially about what went right. Obviously, in every game, there'll be some learning opportunities, and for us, there were a lot of things that went right. We got off to a fast start, scoring on 4 straight drives on offense. Defensively, really played about as perfect a first half, forcing 3 and outs and really doing a great job. And then the game shifted at what I call we call it that middle 8, and that's where the learning piece for us that we'll make some corrections. And defensively, the best thing that came out of that game is we played a lot of players. The disappointing thing was on offense we didn't get to play as many players as I envisioned us because of how the third quarter went. That middle 8. That middle 8 is the last drive of the first half and the first drive of the second half, and the long drive they had followed that with the one-play drive with the tipped interception, with the still a series of plays, with the surprise onside. Didn't allow us to develop our offensive players because we got 9 plays in the third quarter, and we're one of those teams that we benefit mightily over having a bunch of opportunities, and we lost that opportunity, and it's something for me we got to continue to work on. We didn't generate the turnovers on defense that we had typically, and it goes back to I said something about last week. Somebody said there was a lot of talk about turnovers, like saying somebody has a 100% free throw percentage, and the next one they clink it off the rim. And so we did not generate the turnovers, and we actually lost the turnover battle. And I know for some of you old football guys, that are longer too, turnover battle was always a big thing, but I think I've educated you guys on, the turnover battle is still really important, but there's some other elements that the big play battle. And for the first time in a couple of games, we got back on the right side of the ledger winning the big play battle. Our goal is to have 12 big plays in a game. Get that one, Sam? All right, just making sure. See, I'm educating. I don't want to get up here and do a police report. I want to try to educate. So I got some notes here that Dustin helps me with, just so y'all bear with me. So there's plenty of things on tape to learn from the Villanova game. It's obviously we're better than the way we played as a team, and that's where we'll be a team that continues to get better and continues to fix things as we go along. And that's the beauty, and that's what I really like about coaching, because if they did it right, they wouldn't need me, and you wouldn't have anything to write about. So I like being able to correct, coach, and develop, and that's what Maryland football's become. Plenty of tape to learn from, but it's always better to do it after a win, and I was happy. Going into this game, obviously, Indiana, man, Kurt Cignetti has done a tremendous job with that team. And if you look at the way he's coached and the way he came up from Elon, goes to JMU, continued a great tradition that JMU had, and then he gets this opportunity at Indiana. And, I know his family, as a college player, his dad, legendary coach at the other Indiana University, the one in Pennsylvania. I playing at Towson. We played them every year, and he comes from a football family, and I can just tell you, man, they're well coached. He came from the same tree. He's been under Coach Saban, and so when you watch this team, the thing that jumps out to me is they're not going to give us this game. They're the team. They're going to make us beat them. And for us, that has been the challenge. We're a team that kind of makes some mistakes, but we also have shown the propensity to score points if things are going well. It also shown the ability to be explosive. And so this game's going to come down to they'll figure out who to take away from us. And our complementary players on offense, somebody's going to have to step up and play big for us in this game. If you think that Ty Felton, they're not going to try to do things to take Ty Felton out of the game, that's where I know the family he comes from as a coach, they're not going to let our best players win, and if they're going to try not. And that's the chess match where we've got to continue to find a way to keep Ty involved, keep Caden involved. But I think some of these complementary players that maybe haven't had as big a roles, the Dylan Wades, the Octavian Smiths, the Kobe McDonalds, these are the types of games. Because you think 2 years ago when we went there, a guy named Billy Edwards, who's our starting quarterback now, came in and brought us from behind to win. These games have always been tough against Indiana, and I can tell you that Coach Signetti, his staff, I think they've got 5 starters on defense that transferred with them from JMU. They've got 3 on offense that are playing well. They've got the former MAC Player of the Year in their quarterback. Really, really talented roster, and the way I see it, as I kind of look at it as being kind of executive producing this game, is this is almost like a combination of the 3 teams, the Michigan State, Virginia, and Villanova that we just played. And it's like combining all 3 of those teams. And so we got a big challenge on our hands, and it's on the road. And so we'll find out a lot about ourselves. I think flexibility is a big deal for us this week. As you go further into the season, people scout you. They try to get tendencies on you. And I think it's going to be really important. And this is maybe where the youth of what we have on our team, the inexperience at O-line and corner, and we replaced a lot of starters. This is where I think that inexperience may benefit us, because the flexibility we have is that we do have some pieces to the puzzle that people don't know about yet. I just mentioned 3, Octavian Smith, Dylan Wade, Preston Howard, and then you throw in a Kobe McDonald, which is 4. They haven't been as prominent roles, and so the flexibility that we have there, and then we've played a lot of players on defense, doesn't allow people to necessarily know who we are, and that's an advantage. And then the last piece for me is the perspective. There's an element of a veteran team because, again, they have 8 starters that transferred in from JMU with them. And their best players on defense, the 2 linebackers were with them a year ago at JMU, know the system. They have a corner that knows the system. They got 2 guys up front. And so this isn't a Indiana team that has a bunch of people that don't know each other. And if you look at how they've been able to play in the first, few games that they've played, you can tell that for us, the challenge will be not Indiana, but us. Will we do the things to execute the way we have to, because they're not going to allow the explosives down the field. We're going to have to put together some drives and block people and not just out big play people. And that's the challenge for this week for us. And on defense, again, best offense that we'll face, really sound in the RPO game. They got a set of backs that both are really talented. Their tight end is the guy that makes them go. And if you look at him on a stat sheet, you'd be like, he maybe doesn't have a bunch of stats, but he is the glue for them on offense. And this guy is really talented in the run game. And that's where sometimes, we get enamored with catches and production there. But as a coach, when you look at things, as I think of them on offense, it's that tight end is the heart and soul of it. And he's effective in the run game. And he plays, we call it style of play. His style of play is what you like when you respect the opponent. I respect the way he plays. And then that quarterback is tough as nails. Ohio University, MAC Player of the Year 2 years ago. I know he suffered an injury or something, but really talented player, and they've got him playing at a high level. So I said all of this to open it up for questions, so hopefully you have no questions. Oh, game captains. Let me look at my notes here. Game captains. Octavian Smith, Donnell Brown, and Kobe McDonald. Wow. I figured that.
Hey, Coach. The offensive line has been really good so far. Just 1 sack allowed per game, one of the better units in the Big Ten. What improvements have you noticed from the UConn game to where we stand now?
Yeah, well, I thought you were talking about Indiana's offensive line, because
No.
Our offensive line is a work in progress still. We're doing a great job of protecting our quarterback, but sometimes sacks, I've said this before, sacks aren't always offensive line driven, just like not giving them up isn't. We got a quarterback that's playing at a really high level. Our coordinator is doing a really good job of not exposing some of the things. Now, the areas that we've worked to continue to improve, that we've taken some steps forward, and then we have some injuries, and now we've got to fill in some spots. The run game, we have just got to become more consistent in the run game, the ability to get the positive yardage, to stay ahead of the sticks. And, running the ball, not because I say we need to run it more, but we just have to be more efficient. And last week we took a step forward. I think we averaged 5.3 yards per rush, which for us, it wasn't ever like a pretty where I knew we felt like we were running the ball. It was just we got some tough yardage. Roman made some guys miss, and we finished some runs the right way.
And you mentioned kind of quarterback, kind of sacks aren't always on the offensive line. Are there any maybe specific metrics you guys use to kind of determine what is necessarily a quarterback sack? Maybe they're scrambling too much versus maybe just a regular.
Every play
sack?
we evaluate. So if there is a sack, is it because we didn't get rid of the ball? Because there's a timing. I always say offensive football is timing and spacing. There's a timing element in the passing game. And if my quarterback, which one of the sacks Billy took, the one he took, should threw the ball away. Like, you don't have to take a sack if nobody's open. It's okay to not get any yards and play the next play rather than wait, hold on to the ball, and expose us by doing that. And then our quarterback has been playing at a high level.
Mike.
Dave, what's up, man?
Not much. Ty Felton season, the year that he is having so far, what do you feel he's been able to take advantage of the first 4 weeks? How, without giving away state secrets, what have you guys been able to take advantage of with him, and what receivers that have come through Maryland does he remind you of?
A lot of good questions, but this gives me a chance to get on my soapbox because Ty Felton is one of my favorite players, man. And he's one of my favorite players because of seeing the way he has developed in our program. It's a reflection that what we talk about being a growth mindset, a developmental program, Ty embodies. 2 years ago, I was doing some research for this. A couple years ago, Ty Felton it was written about how the ball hit off his face mask against Michigan, I think, in one of our papers. Talked about, a year ago, I think we wrote about how he dropped a big play against Northwestern that maybe could have helped us win the game. And now everybody's like, Ty Felton is the best thing since sliced bread. And you know what? He is. And I don't say his pass to take away from what he's doing. But what I'm saying is Ty Felton has developed in our program. And if some people give us the ability to develop these players, you won't be as surprised about what Ty Felton does. Because nobody in our building is surprised. Because if you got to know him, if you see what I get to see every single day, this kid and Leon Houghton caught tennis balls off the tennis ball machine from 11 to 1 every night during the summer and all last season. And so, you know what? Ty is a byproduct of his work ethic, his effort that he puts in, and what this program kind of tries to do, develop people. So that's my soapbox on. I hope I answered your question.
And on a different note, their quarterback, Curtis Rourke, the stuff that he does, what does he do to a defense?
Well, I try to tell you, like when I say it's a combination of those, like he's a little bit of the Calandria kid at Virginia, that moxie I talked about Villanova's quarterback a week ago, and then even the Michigan State big arm freshman, Aiden kid from Michigan. He's kind of a mixture, and that's why the way our season is set up in the past 3 games have prepared us for this first road trip in the Big Ten. And I'm looking forward to see how we respond as I continue to evaluate us, as a program as the season goes along. And this team has continued to impress me, our team.
Mike, what do you hope the players have learned from the Big Ten game against Michigan State, and how do you hope they apply it to Saturday?
I kind of just went through a whole synopsis of all the things. I don't think we're not still on the Michigan State, but we're in how we prepare for Indiana. We understand that the thing that showed up in the mid, we didn't finish well, okay? Well, in the Virginia game, we came back and held the ball for 5 minutes and 9 seconds. Last week the middle eight becomes an issue. For us, it's the consistency, and it wasn't even about Michigan State. Everything I've talked about is about me as a coach, us as a program, and it's going to always be that way. So however you want to write it, it'll always be written like, what do we have to do? Because it's very rarely going to be about our opponent the way our program is set up. It's about us playing our best on Saturday and me getting the best out of these guys and putting them in position to play their best. And you know what? I like this team, man. You guys just sit back. I like this team.
Kind of an oddball for you today, Coach.
Sam with the oddball. You're becoming that guy, huh, Sam?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Cool. I like that.
So what's your relationship like with Johnny Holiday? I know you guys obviously do shows, and he's been here for a while. Take me through that guy and your relationship with him.
It should be called the Johnny Holiday radio show. I'm kind of like his sidekick. And no, man, I have known Johnny for the 16 seasons I've been here at Maryland, and I think there are very few people that love the University of Maryland the way I do. I always tell the story of how, like, where we practice right now. Hey, where'd you get that sweatshirt from? She's trying to hide. Now, the way they practice over there, our practice fields used to be the area where I used to scout tickets for Maryland games. You know, Cole Fieldhouse was right here, and you had the tennis courts, and then you had Lot Z used to have a hill, like it was kind of like a 3-level lot. And it is almost like Johnny Holiday was calling those games. And so to listen to him and now be sitting next to him, sometimes I pinch myself. And I'm being real because this guy embodies in what Maryland is about. Mm-hmm. And he's probably the biggest fan that I know next to me.
Hey, Mike, I remember talking at the beginning of the year, you were saying how the defense was really going to be the key to the team. There was, I don't know if you actually said there was pressure on the defense or not, but really the defense was going to be.
Defensive-led team. We still are.
Right. But now after 4 games and coming into the Indiana game and seeing what Billy's been able to do and Ty and et cetera, is it balancing out? Like, how do you look at the team right now?
Well, we're still a defensive-led team. If you want to judge a team, look at kind of our special teams right now. We're playing a lot of young guys on special teams because that's one of the areas where they can help us immediately. And if you look at that, like, we got a bunch of defensive guys that are starters on special teams. Dante Trader, Ruben Hippolyte, they're on our punt team. I know that Glenn Miller's on our punt team. We've got a bunch of starters on our kickoff team running down, covering kicks. And so the defensive guys are – you could tell the character of a team by their special teams. And if you look at our special teams, we have more defensive guys this year they're playing prominent roles on special teams. And so that to me is why when I talk about it, yeah, they still lead us. I mean, these guys got a lot of experience. You look at the first 4 games of our season, and you know, our defense minus not finishing at the end of the Michigan State game has played really pretty well for us. It's just been the consistency and the alignment of all 3 phases. We're still a defensive-led team, in my opinion.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
As you look back at the first 4 games of the season, where do you see the biggest area of improvement now heading into the Big Ten slate?
Our biggest area of improvement as a team, I would say obviously it turns to that turnover battle. Like, we've protected the ball on offense. You know, the interception we had a week ago and the fumble, man, those are a tip ball. I mean, tip balls never end up in the right hands typically. They always end up in bad places. And to have the tip ball and then Kobe's touchdown, I mean, his fumble, I mean, we're in position to where that play could have very easily been a touchdown, and it ends up not getting points. So I would just say that we've done a really good job defensively with getting them, and then offensively, we've protected the ball for the most part. Our margin of error, we always talk about that in here. A margin of error is the number of plays where you have self-inflicted wounds. And I would say that we've played under our goal, which our goal is to be under 12%, Sam, for your oddball question. Under 12% of the plays we have on offense should contain a sack, a fumble, an interception, offensive penalty, or a drop pass. Those are 5 things that are self-inflicted on offense. And so if, you take the number of plays we get, which we try to get 80, if that 12% margin, if you're under 12% of those plays containing one of those 5 self-inflicted wounds, based on Ralph Friedgen's formula, and that's where I first learned it in 2001, you win 90% of the games because you're not beating yourself. And to me, that's where every game this year we've been under the 12% threshold. And I can tell you, I don't think there's been a run like that here. And those are little hidden things that, now Sam has learned some stuff. He's going to use it against me 4 games later, right? You're going to be figuring out, your margin of error was 22% today, coach. So just trying to help us out a little bit, educate us.
Take 2 more in the back.
What's up, Coach, back here?
You like this relaxed thing, don't you, Sean? It's kind of like we're in the barber shop just talking.
Yeah. Where's the
Just kind of hanging out.
where's the
there.
cocktails?
Yeah, no drinking.
Anyway,
We're cutting hair right now. Johnny's had a few already. He's retired now. Look at the legendary Johnny.
it's pretty laid back today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey,
It's rainy day, man. Rain is weird for me. Like, I'm a sun guy. How many of y'all sun guys out here? God, I hate when I wake up it's gray, man. It's bad for cream of mushroom soup. That makes you even more depressed. Who's cream of mushroom in a gray day? Like, really? Come on. Mushrooms grow in the dark. We want light. Give us light. Sean, I'm sorry.
Here's your light, Coach. So as you jump into Big Ten play now, and given given the way Game 2 ended against
I'm not going
Michigan
back
State,
there, so
can you kind of characterize the importance of getting that Big Ten win and starting this rest of the schedule off the right way, and how big that is going forward?
yeah, so I'm gonna shave all that down because you talked about the past, and then you want to talk about the future, how this helps the future, and we're going right back here to the moment. We got Indiana this week on the road. Probably, I was there for the first Big Ten win we ever had in 2014, and that was a dogfight. Every game against them has been a dogfight. They're a well-coached team. Indiana has all of our attention. Not one bit of Michigan State, and nothing forward is in the minds of us other than what maybe we learned, which is we've already been working and correcting. And so we got enough on our hands. It's a Big Ten road game. I mean, go back and check the records. I mean, most people playing on the road, you don't have a lot of success typically. But that's what I love about being able to go play it, have a scoreboard and time on the clock, that if we have an opportunity, we'll have a chance. And that's what I like about this team. And we'll do the work this week. And Indiana's a big game because it's the next one on our schedule, and it's a conference game, like you said. So, I mean, that's how I've shaped it for us, and that's the direction we're moving.
Coach, obviously Billy's been one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten.
No, come on, man.
Come on now.
What'd you think about you thought that you thought that was a good decision?
I mean, from the jump.
Did you write anything about the decision?
I did.
What'd you think?
I said it was a good call.
Okay.
But, I do think that early
Because you're
on
not
in
a
the
fan,
season,
though. 'Cause
not a fan.
I heard you say you're not a fan.
Not a fan.
As a media member, you're not allowed to be a fan.
1,000%
Got
media
it.
credential.
All right, just want to make sure.
I do think that I expect to see more of the quarterback run, though, and that hasn't really been a big part of the offense. Do you think that'll increase as we get into conference play, or do you like where it's at right now?
We go into every game trying to figure out what gives us the best chance to win from a menu of plays. Sometimes it may be his feet. Sometimes it's getting it to the best players. Like I told you, we have touch charts. Our quarterback has a touch chart. Typically my goal is maybe get Billy 3 to 5. Some of them happen organically. Some of his best runs come off of drop back passes. I don't know if I like my starting quarterback getting hit a lot. So, when you say on third and medium to get a first down, yeah. Red area, yeah. Just to say we are a quarterback run-based system, that's not who we are, and that's not what I've been in a long time. So we utilize his skill set. Josh does a great job of kind of shaping a plan that fits what Billy does best, and right now I think we've got it figured out right now. So we'll keep working to make it better. Is that it? That's it. Oh, man. Thank you guys very much. Thank you very much. And then Johnny. Thank you very much, Johnny. He started that, by the way. Cream of mushroom, dude?
That's fine. Okay, sorry. No, it might be. That wasn't all time. That was like best song ever. The spice rack, that's hilarious. Just still there, but the spices.